Hey, mic check, mic check. I want to make sure everybody, mic check. Cam, mic check.
1 2 1 2
1 2 1 2
1 2 in the place to be.
All right, it's coming through. Just want to make sure it sounded all right coming through on the other end. All right. So, how y'all doing? This is your boy Brogi Naric, and I'm doing a spoiler discussion about Stranger Things. Gave y'all a week because Netflix was not messing around. They gave us a bunch of episodes. They said sorry for the 3-year wait, but we got this content for you. So,
hell yeah,
give everybody a week to get it. Let it marinate and go. Get inside your mind and all of that, and we can talk about it here. I got some guests with me. Got my man Killer Cam from Blurred Up Reacts. Killer Cam, let people know where they can find you, man.
What's up? All platforms at Blurred Up Reacts. We just locked it in.
There you go. Yeah, you got keeping it on all platforms is a good strategy. And we got Don Mega from Emma on the Air.
Yes,
coming
sir.
Through. Don,
happy to be here, man.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. Yes, Emma on the Air, same thing. All platforms, just search Emma on the Air, all one word. Be easy to find it and get you caught up there.
Yes, good. So we're going to be going through Stranger Things on Netflix, and let's talk about it. Is this one of your favorite shows? How y'all feel about the show in general? I'll let Cam go first.
Hey. It's my show just mainly for the nostalgia. They always just have this way of weaving in such intricate stories and then putting these little pops of things that we all know, we all can recognize, and it just brings back like that memory. I'm an 80s baby, so you put me in the middle of that, I'm already cheesing. So
right. Understandable. Don, how you general thoughts on Stranger Things, man?
Yeah, no, same, man. Another kid of the 80s, just this is my jam. I mean, that's why I think so many of us resonated with us in season 1. It was just like, oh man, this is so nostalgic, and just the way it played out and the music and the style. And it definitely is one of my favorite shows that's out. I mean, that's what's been such a struggle getting to this season, because it's been like 3 years since season 3.
Yeah.
So we were ready, man. We were more than ready. And Netflix was like, here's some mini movies we're going to drop on y'all with these long ass hour-and-a-half episodes.
Right.
7 of them in one batch. So it was a journey. It was a journey.
I usually like to, with Stranger Things, I usually like to watch the season before so I can remind myself what had happened. And I didn't have the time to do that because Obi-Wan had dropped and I was working on something else. And the next thing I knew, it was coming out that week, and I'm like, damn, what is going on? Miss Marvel's coming out, then The Boys is the week after that. I'm like, oh my god,
too much TV, man.
Too much right now. TV. So I was a little behind the ball, but I love this series. So once I was gonna be there to watch it. But yeah, the longer episodes, not gonna complain, because if they were shorter, I would have complained. So I'm gonna just gonna deal with it. And then they decided to split it up. I thought when they were going to split it up, it was going to be more like Ozark, where it was going to be, it was like the first 7 and then another 7.
Yeah.
But for this, it was 7, and then I think it's 2 afterwards. But then they said the 2 afterwards about like 3 hours altogether or something like that. So I'm like,
well, the finale episode is going to be 2.5 hours.
Right. 2.5.
2.5. 2.5, and I think episode 8's like an hour and a half. So they're long, man. Especially the last one.
I'll deal with it on that, but that's going to be interesting. So let's go with some non-spoilery thoughts. I would say overall, these first couple episodes, really good, really good, great build to whatever this finale is going to be. But hopefully they can stick the landing. Cam, what were your overall non-spoilery thoughts of the Volume 1, Season 4?
I mean, again, I got to go back to the nostalgia, man. But the story is crafted in a way, which is why we have such a long form. There's so much information to keep track of, So it's like you're watching it, and then if you're like me, who gets obsessive about theories, I'm trying to piece it together in my head, and there's just so much coming at you. But at the end of the day, the Duffers are really good about connecting the dots, and they're doing it already. By the time we got to this 7th episode, everything started to like just gel together. So I was like, okay, I see now. I see. In
a somewhat interesting way, but there was also a lot of stuff that they did retcon a lot, which we can get into in the spoilers. But Don, how you overall non-spoilery thoughts?
Overall, absolutely loved it. Just a great season. Definitely worth the wait. I think that was the worry going into the season was it's been so long. Do we even care anymore? You know, it becomes that after it's been that many years, you're just like, these kids are now grown up. Like, do I care where they're at? Like, am I going to care about this story? How are they going to make it make sense? And they sucked me right back in on episode 1, and I was along for the ride, man. Like, there's not many shows these days that I still like binge back to back like this, because I do watch so many different shows like for my channel and stuff.
I know you do.
Dude, it's so hard to keep up with. So sometimes I like to watch a couple, move on to something else, kind of go back to it and kind of flip flop. But this is one of those shows that just for that whole weekend, it was like next episode, even though they were so long. It had me, man. I was like, what's next? And I did it in 2 days. So we made it through.
I did it in 2 days too. Normally I would probably just go through it in a day, but yeah, those hour-long episodes, I was like, you know what, let me just pace this out.
Yeah.
Something else.
Well, and you know, Obi-Wan dropped on the same day too, which made it hard.
That was the other,
there was 2 episodes of Obi-Wan also.
That's right.
So Friday night was kind of like, where do I go first? And it was like, all right, let me get the 2 episodes of Obi out the way, and we can dedicate all weekend to Stranger Things. So that's how we blazed on that one.
I did the exact same thing. All right, so let's screw it. I mean, that's non-sports. Good. Check it out. It's worth your time. I'd give it, like, at this point for what we got, I'd give it at least a B+. You know what I'm saying? I'll give it at least a B+. So hopefully they can stick the landing. But let's just go into spoilers. Yeah. And I want to say I guess one of the criticisms a lot of people have with Stranger Things is they tend to rely on a lot of homages, especially with Stephen King, and that's cool. But I'm glad that they decided to rip off Wes Craven and do Friday the 13th, not Friday the Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. So it was appreciated because I love Freddy Krueger, so that was dope. All the horror elements, the horror vibes, the practical costumes and all of that, they blew me out of the water. That stuff was amazing. And just seeing the newer threats, how they elevate the threats with each season. I think this is probably the best enemy they've had since the Mind Flayer was good, but definitely better than the what was the thing in season 2? It was just an army. It wasn't that it in season. It was like the virus sort of deal.
I forgot.
That was like a decade ago. I don't remember.
Right.
Right. I
mean, the second one was like Will got sick, and then there was a infestation or whatever. So I like that the threat gets better with each season. It's hard to do. Cam, I mean not Cam. Don, some of your thoughts for non-spoilers you want to take it.
Like I said, I mean, just kind of right out the gate, it hits hard, and. I love just the added horror elements in this season. I mean, I'm a big horror guy too, and just the other seasons had moments, but this season is like true horror. It's really amped up. I mean,
straight up.
At the end of episode 1, when that chick rises to the sky and just
pretzel,
I was like, what in the hell just happened right now? I wasn't ready for it. I was not ready for it, and every time it happens, I'm just like, now I'm all giddy, like, oh, it's gonna happen. Like it's really cool. The whole thing with Vecna, I mean, just like that villain is like super cool, and I love that, like, just the way the visuals in this show are so awesome, man. I love the upside down and how it's just this mirror of the town, and he's in the house, that even when they're in the normal house, and it's just kind of got that
he's hanging out in the house
world, and he's just like recharging up in the attic,
taunting everybody. It was good stuff.
Just the way that they unfolded this story, man, is just it was cool. It was really cool, and that's what I like about this show is just like they could just have every season be a Demogorgon, and they could have just rode with that for 5 seasons. But I like that every season, like you said, it is a different kind of villain. It's a different kind of thing coming out of this, upside down, and how we've just elevated it. And there's still another season to go. So I'm just like, where do you go from here? Because this definitely feels like it's set up to be a finale. So I'm anxious to see, man.
Yeah. Cam, spoilery thoughts you got?
Same thing, and it kind of goes back to what you guys just said. The amount of time that had passed before this had dropped, would we even care anymore? I feel like they wove into that horror element because they knew that they had to sprinkle up the story just a little bit to make us care. So up the story just a little bit to make us care. So
right.
I think they've done an amazing job, and it's not just Nightmare on Elm Street. Stephen King, of course, is in there. You got Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You got John Hughes movies. I was just like picking stuff like here and there, and I'm like, this is just everything that I need in my life right now. And the story being what it is, it's just, you don't know what to say. They've just done an amazing job so far. So
definitely a lot of John Hughes, more than I was expecting. That was more with the what was her name, Susie and her family. Like that turned into a full-on like crazy comedy, which was kind of out of place, but it was okay at the same time. You know, so I was like, hey, you know what, I'll just ride with it. It is what it is. And some of the stuff with what's her name, Joyce and Murray, that was a little more on the slapsticky side as well. But that was, I think, one of the crazy things is just how big the cast is and how the show did a pretty good job balancing the like 6 different storylines that were kind of all going on at the same time. You know, some were better than others, but they did manage to keep it together pretty well. I'll give them props for that.
I totally agree. I mean, that's hard to do. You know, when sometimes I feel like with shows, when they try to tell too many stories and too many things are going on at one time, it gets too distracting. Yeah. And this show like really handles the separate stories very well, to where you're anxious to kind of see, okay, now we're going to check out these guys. Now we're going to go over here to these guys. And it flows amazingly. So, I mean, I really shout out to the Duffer Brothers. I mean, they're some incredible filmmakers. I can't wait to see what else they do outside of Stranger Things. Like you start to hear these rumors, oh, maybe Marvel, maybe Ghost Rider, like all these different things started kind of popping up over the weekend. Like, I want to see what they do outside this world, because I think they're awesome.
They'll be perfect for, I mean, because they clearly love a lot of comic book stuff, because that whole last part of the last episode 7 was a straight up comic book at that point, and I loved every second of it. But we're giving all this praise, but let's talk about some of our hated moments out of these episodes. I'm gonna let Cam go. Any hated moments you got, Cam? You think of? Because I got some questions. But I'm gonna let you go first.
Yes. So and we talked about this last night. The way they're writing some of these scenes for some of these characters are dumb as fuck. Like, they have gotten these people who have gone through these situations before asking stupid, why? Well, what? Well, why? And this, and wasting time. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, come on, stop acting like you're brand new and get to work. You've
seen a lot of weird stuff. You should be a little more reactive than questioning at this point.
In that, or not divulging all the information. It's like, okay, you guys know that the whole crew is going to be in on this stuff some way, somehow, eventually. Start sharing what the hell you know, so y'all could be there. And it's just kind of like, there was literally points where I was like sitting, especially with Lucas's ass, I wanted to smack the shit out of him.
Yeah, Lucas was a little frustrating.
Lucas was driving me nuts.
Like, what are y'all doing? So that was my gripe. Like, why are y'all writing them dumb? Like, what is this, and what's this purpose? Why are we doing this? So.
Now, I mentioned this. Did it seem like Steve was a little bit dumber than usual at certain moments? Like, some of that friction with him and Dustin was funny, but it felt like Steve kind of regressed a little, where it's like, he got better as it went on, but there was some moments when him and Dustin was going back and forth, and Dustin was kind of calling him out, like why are you being such a baby right now? Like, you should be a little more, focused on what's happening right now. I don't know. Steve seemed slightly off to me, but Don, any hated things, questions, concerns you got?
I think my biggest thing coming out of this season, because I can forgive a lot of the, that kind of stuff, like just writing the kids, like it just, I try to just always go along for the ride, right? Not overthink it too much. And I get why they did it, but one of my things that I just hate, and this goes back to comic book movies, everything, is the whole trope of losing powers, right? So like having to go through this whole thing with 11 and just like, I don't have it anymore. Like, and okay, now let's go through this journey, and we're gonna teach you, and we're gonna, have you relive all your worst dreams and everything to bring them back. And I can't stand it. Like, I just hate it in every single format when you have a superpowered person. They did it on the show Heroes. They've done it on all all the damn movies.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
You're
Spider-Man
right.
2. There's just always some point where it's like, for whatever reason, I got a mental block and I can't do my powers. And and I know, of course, it always leads up to the awesome moment when I finally could do it again.
Yeah,
and
triumphant
you know,
return.
But it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. So for those, you know, 6 episodes basically building up to her kind of getting them back in 7, it was just like, why are we have to do this? We couldn't have thought of another way. You know, that bummed me out, and that was just like, I just didn't want to take a typical route like that. So that was probably my biggest negative coming out of the season.
Okay.
And I want to piggyback off that
too,
real quick. I think that was a mistake. I think that's where they messed up, because had that not happened, I wouldn't have figured out the meat and potatoes of what was happening. Because they put her on that journey, I was like, shit, I'm not going to say it, but I was like, okay, this is the only thing it could be. So when I get there, I'm like, okay, I'm here for it. But
I didn't jump ahead. I didn't figure it all out. Certain aspects I did. I just didn't like the whole stuff with Henry being one. I saw that coming. That was obvious. But the connection with Vecna, I didn't see that. But we'll talk about that. But hated moments. I got a couple of questions. First question: where did Joyce get $40,000? Did they explain that?
Yeah,
she opened it. She opened an OnlyFans.
Oh, they had a trust for Jesus Christ!
It was a trust for 11 that Hopper left her.
Oh, really? Okay, I must have missed that. Because I was like, I skipped over that. I was like, wait, where did she get 40,000?
Yeah.
So that I was thinking there was some money set aside somewhere. Okay, thank you. Okay, but the other thing that was confusing, Hopper's ankles. what was going on with his ankles? Hopper is my favorite. He was my favorite character. 11 has jumped back to favorite after this season, but his storyline, him being trapped in Russia, interesting. That was some fun stuff. You know, him trying to work with the guard to get out, and Joyce and Murray trying to come save him. Which I love Murray this season. I loved him this season. He was goofy as hell, but I loved him. He was beating ass. But this weird thing where he has the big Russian dude, he gives up his suit to bang the hammer against his cuff. I thought he was trying to break the cuff, and then he would pretend that it's still attached, where he could detach the links. Apparently that wasn't the case. He just allowed the hammer to beat the shit out of his ankle. He has this big cut, not a bruise, a big cut on his foot. He can slip it through the hole just so he could do push-ups. I didn't get that. I didn't know what was the process. I didn't get the thought process of that. When I'm like, what was the whole point? Was it just to make him tough? Was that it? Somebody explain that to me. Y'all got an idea on what was going on with that?
You got it, Don? You want me to take it? You got it?
Go take it away.
Go ahead.
So basically, just think about like Saw. Like if you've got cuffs on your ankles and you have to get them off, the most feasible option is to saw your foot off. Well, we're not doing that because we got to run. So basically, he broke his ankle so he could hyperextend his. How do I want to say it? What's the word I'm looking for? He wanted to hyperextend like that joint so he could just slip it through.
That's what I thought.
Because they were checking it.
Yeah, that's what I thought was the case. But wouldn't it swell up and like it would be hard to slip that ring off?
Possible.
Right? That's what I was thinking.
For
him,
That's what I was
thinking.
Him
I was
to
like,
do that. It'd be doing full John Wick action choreography.
Right,
it's not possible. I broke and tore my Achilles. I broke my ankle, tore my Achilles bone out the foot. I had a full leg cast on for 7 months and then a half cast for about 6 months after that, on top of physical therapy and all that stuff. There was no walking this off.
Right.
There is no walking this off. There is no kicking and punching and running up hills with a broken ankle like that. So.
Okay,
unless he's just really not a pussy, like he's just
he's tough.
The most
he's
macho man
tough.
ever.
I give him that. I love Hopper. He's a badass. And but yeah, that was a little like, okay, what are we doing with these ankles here? I don't know how we getting out of this one. So that was just some crazy stuff. Any of the newer characters? Anybody like any of the newer characters, like the kids that died? Because I gotta say, he was in the show for a little bit, but I really enjoyed Fred. The guy that was working with Nancy, the little reporter kid, I liked him. He reminded me of somebody I went to school with, so I thought he was kind of fun. And I was actually sad when he died. I was like, oh damn, I thought he was gonna make it. I didn't know he was on the chopping block. But Any particular new characters y'all liked?
I mean, I'm spacing his name right now, but the rocker dude.
Eddie.
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie is the best.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Eddie. So I mean, that was a cool character. Just kind of, I don't know, man. Just again, the nostalgic part of the whole like hair metal dude, like just like, and I just love how like he was like the dude everybody was scared of at school, but then like he's all like the one that's like the scariest of like everything that's going on in the show. You know,
I don't blame them because you know they want to lock him up for murder. I would have been I would have been out too. I mean, if you were about to sell cocaine to someone and then they just died at your uncle's house, you would definitely you're not sticking around for the cops. I don't think. You know what I'm saying? So, oh man, but no, Eddie was good. I like that. I like that actor. He was a wild boy.
He was really good.
Yeah. And how anybody liking Jason? I was cool with Jason.
Hell no.
Nobody like Jason?
Him and Angela could I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but both of them could just die. Look.
Angela was on bullshit. I agree with that. Jason, I kind of like Jason in his sermons. I thought that was kind of funny.
No. As soon as he did that little motivational speech before the rally, I was like, oh no, here we go.
Yeah, getting this Captain America on.
Yeah, because they were setting it up. And that thing that they took, again, it's nostalgia. Just like you're saying, Fred reminded you of a friend. Like Eddie reminds me of my first babysitter who got me into horror movies and metal and stuff. So immediately remembering just how he used to go through life, I'm watching this and I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Because that was a thing back then. Dungeons and Dragons, it was this whole scandal about it being devil worshiping. Basically, I was like, all right.
Panic.
Exactly. So I'm like, here we go. We're gonna do the us versus the others.
Oh yeah. Get the townspeople riled up, and we got to go searching for the monster and all of that because he's got Satan's powers. See, that's when he started to lose me. Where he literally saw the body float up, and I thought he was gonna finally realize something else is happening. He's like, oh no, he's just working for Satan. I'm like, God damn it, Jason.
Yeah, no.
It's like it's
horrible.
It's like the game is doing. I'm like, oh man, this is not good. But they were cool. Angela was the worst. I agree. Angela was the absolute worst. And the skate to the forehead was. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say.
It was well deserved. It was
understandable.
She earned it.
She did earn it.
She earned it.
She did earn it. I give her that. She did earn it.
No ifs, ands, buts about it.
Yeah, she worked hard for that ass beating right there. And some of the one other, not necessarily something I hate, but something that did happen that's pretty much been happening the whole series is the underservice of Will's character. Because Will has been, for the most part, for like 2 seasons straight, he's just been like a MacGuffin, you know?
Every season.
Yeah, damn near. Yeah, you're right.
He basically was been the MacGuffin from episode 1.
And him coming back in this way, I thought they might had a little more for him, but he's kind of just kind of hanging back. The whole him and having a crush. When they initially said he had a crush, I thought it was gonna be someone else that he met in California before it to be Mike. I was like, okay, I see where this this storyline might be heading to, and it's like how are they gonna stick the landing or what? I don't know, but it's I wish they would have had a little more for Will to do. But him hanging with the boys, their story was okay-ish. The moment where they were in the shootout, I thought it was really dope, though. When they were trying to order the pizza and sneak out, and then next thing you know, the soldiers bust in there. That was awesome.
That was cool.
That was really good. The action, I think, Netflix, I guess you could say they're struggling now because this was started before, they started losing all this money. But I'm glad that they gave this show all the money that they did because it definitely
this is their show.
Yeah, they used it to their advantage. So I don't know I guess we can hop into it with Vecna's origins. Vecna, tell me how y'all feeling about the villain Vecna, just off rip. Don, I'm gonna let you go. Don.
I love it. I mean, just another nightmare visions, just this dude. Obviously, that whole scene in the Upside Down with him and Max, and then him basically getting ready to kill her, and then her run into the portal, and just everything they've done with him, I just love that he's, is like, we're gonna be together, and he just basically takes him over. Like, I love his design, I love his style, love the voice. I mean, it's old school horror, man. Once again, like, we just don't get good characters like this anymore. You guys talked about Freddy before and stuff like that. Like, it's that old school kind of like Pinhead, like we would be talking about, Vecna, like if this was a movie just with this guy, that was haunting you in your dreams. It's awesome, man. Like, I love it. I love everything about it. I love the twist towards the end of telling the story of that family and how it was the little kid that grew up, and just that whole unveiling was awesome. And hearing kind of the story of how it all originated. I love this character, man. I can't wait to see the big showdown between obviously him and 11 when it comes to it.
I'm a little worried about that. Cam, how your thoughts on Vecna? It's a personal thing. I'll get into it after Cam goes. But
I can't even put it. I just love them. It's just one of those things where they've kind of taken the best of every monster archetype there is and just kind of put it in here. There's a little bit of it in there. There's Freddy Krueger. There's just all this stuff happening with them. The design is great. And that voice, when you hear, it's a commanding presence. So anytime he's on screen, I don't know about y'all, but I'm looking like, what the hell? Because I'm trying to see like what's moving on his body. I'm trying to understand like all the workings of it. So
I was so surprised when they revealed that the whole suit was practical. I thought the face was practical and everything else might have been CG, but they was like, the actor was like, no, that was all practical except for like when the vines was moving, and they did a damn good job on it, and it shows because it was reminding me of have y'all seen the movie Bubba Hotep? It was, that's what Vecna was to a degree was also kind of reminding me of. I was like, that's got to be practical because it's moving a little too well. My only concern about Vecna is I'm someone who hates spiders. I hate spiders with a passion. I fucking hate spiders. So whenever he was like with the Black Widows, as soon as it popped, I was like, God damn it, he's gonna be a giant spider monster, isn't he? And that's what I'm not looking forward to that. And then he's going to be like Pennywise. He's going to be a goddamn spider monster. I don't want to see it, but it's going to happen. They went into it too much, but Vecna is a dope character. I love Freddy Krueger. So, him having the Freddy Krueger vibes, the fact that his dad is Freddy Krueger in a roundabout way.
Yeah, was that cool?
Awesome. Robert, did you guys just fucking blow up when you saw that? Like, as soon as I heard the voice, I was like, no.
That's what I did. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, is it? It is.
He did great in that one scene that he had retelling his family's story. And there's some interesting stuff. Like, I know you guys said in an AK stream, the whole moment when he tries to kill himself and he slashes his eyes.
Yeah,
that didn't make any sense. Why would you do that? You're not dying from that. That was just weird.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I thought I might have missed something, because that was a pretty epic episode. So,
great episode. I love the whole bit with Nancy and Robin infiltrating into the hospital and all that. I like that dynamic. I must say, Nancy. Yeah, exactly. Very Silence of the Lambs vibes. I loved Nancy is another character that grew on me as the series went on, because she was kind of okay in the first season or two, but I know 3 when her and Jonathan were working together, and now her and Nancy, her and Robin working together. I love her as the little Lois Lane character. I do agree. They kept her very consistent, and I hope they get her away from Jonathan, because Jonathan, I think, is useless at this point.
Useless.
That relationship, he's just useless at this point. I just get it.
They're like, we're gonna bring you back for this new season, but you're just gonna be like some stoner dude, and we'll just
right. You got nothing going on, dude.
He's got zero.
Ain't got a damn thing going on. So, So Vecna, the idea that, I guess it's a little confusion of whether he's like in control of the Upside Down or if he's just working for the Mind Flayer. They kind of said he's working for the Mind Flayer, so I don't know how that's going to tie back in with the overall threat in the finale of this whole thing. But the whole going back to the Rainbow Room, we seeing 11. She's traumatized because there's a new memory that we never heard of where she murdered all the kids that were at the facility at one point, which I do find it interesting that they did not barely talk about her sister. I was hoping we were going to get a little more about that. You know, that character that everybody hated from season 2. They barely didn't talk about her, which I was a little disappointed because I actually liked that episode. But anyway,
was that 8?
Yeah, 8, right? Yeah, her
8,
sister 8. Yeah, that snuck away. They just had one line where it's like, "Oh, this was before your sister was already gone." I was like, "Oh, okay." So so all the backstory stuff with her. Yeah, easy retcon. Yeah, right.
Easy retcon. It was before her time.
Yeah, she was gone by this time. Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's literally like, y'all lucky we like this show. Look.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, you'll let certain things slide, right? You'll let certain things slide for something you like.
More like you're lucky that was 6 years ago and I don't remember. So
you
didn't notice.
Right, at that point too.
That might be the plan. Look, overload us with information so we don't catch it in the moment.
Yeah,
because I mean,
when you watch the recap at the beginning, that's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's all we're focusing on.
Anything else that happened, don't worry about that.
Same thing with Obi-Wan. They gave us that recap. Just focus on this, and now we're going into the show. You know, it's like stuff like that. But the whole retcon. There's a lot of retcons in this whole connection with Vecna, because it seems like mutant powers are a thing now, because they don't explain where Henry gets his power, which I'm fine with because I love X-Men. But you know, originally it was hinted that it was sort of like, you know, they took drugs and then the drugs enhanced certain, you know, psychic abilities, and then that led to the children who now had full-on superpowers. But now it seems it's all based off of the kid Henry, #1, who was, I don't know, experimented on, and somehow those abilities were transferred. They're still a little iffy on the explanation of that, but
I think he had it already.
Right, that's what I'm thinking too.
Because they kept, remember, Robert Englund, his father Victor, said he was sensitive.
He did say that. He said he was a sensitive child, and he thought the kid was worried. And then there's the stuff with the mom, which I'll get into a little bit. So I think she's going to play a big part in how they're going to take him down. But 11 being at the school and all the kids got killed, having this sort of mentor in Henry, which how do you guys feel about Henry as a character? Before the reveal, how are y'all feeling about Henry, Cam?
I mean, it wasn't a reveal to me. I figured it out. Like and that's what pissed me off about it, because it's literally process of elimination. Like you're watching it.
True.
And it just clicks. You're just like, yeah, I'm not going to say like all of it, but it was just one of those things where it's just like, oh, okay. It wasn't a surprise. So.
See, I was thinking he was going to play into it a little bit differently, because like I said, the whole him being #1 was pretty obvious. I wasn't even thinking about #1, and he just randomly was like, "You've heard about #1, have you?" I'm like, "Okay, let me guess, you're #1." Okay, so that was coming, but the whole him being Victor Creel's son, I didn't catch upon that. I did remember like, oh, the son fainted, but then he said he thought the son died, so that's why I was like, well, maybe, which wasn't the case. So I was kind of eliminating him after that, because it's like, oh, well, maybe the son died after the whole coma thing. But seeing him and his relationship with 11, his relationship with what's his name, Brenner, who I got to say, welcome back, but I don't like you. Brenner and his manipulations, like you don't know who to trust. That's always the thing, because Henry's like, oh, Brenner's
Papa?
bad. Yeah, Papa. Yeah, Papa. Yeah, that fucking weirdo.
That's so weird.
So weird.
And I think he is, at least. They kept it vague on whether or not he actually is 11's dad. I think he is, but I think he might be the other kids' dads to a degree. But that's just to make it weird. yeah, just to make it weirder. But so you don't know who to trust, because he's like, oh, when 11 got jumped by the bullies, it's like, oh, he did that to set you up, and he's like, oh, don't trust a #1. Like, you don't know who to trust in that. But that actor, I wish I had his name. That actor did a fantastic job that played Henry, because at that bit at the end when he was doing the speech, I was getting like Willem Dafoe vibes from him when he was, doing his humanity is a virus, so they must be destroyed. That basic speech. Yeah. But he was killing it though. I got to give him props. He was definitely killing it. And
so Campbell Bower, that's his name.
Say it again.
Jamie Campbell Bower.
Jamie Campbell, fire. He did a great job. He was doing the suit and Henry, and he really he really showed out on that one. So good for that guy. But and the special effects on Young 11 I thought was very good as well. She's supposed to be like 8 or 7 or so when all this is going down, and kind of jumping around between that. I thought that looked really good for the most part, especially on Netflix budget. Looked pretty solid for most of it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So Don, any thoughts on Henry and his whole backstory?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much exactly what Cam said. I mean, it just like, I don't know, like you saw it coming from the very beginning, from when you first started talking to 11. You're like, I mean, he's this older guy with all these little kids. Like it just
he stood out
odd from the minute he came in. He's creepy as shit. Like, just you're like, something's more to this. So yeah, that's the only thing that sucks, is that it ruined kind of like some ultimate big reveal that you're like, what? Like it's just like, see, that's what I thought it was going. He did a good job. I mean, I think the actor killed it. From a character standpoint, I don't know.
Very standard
characters like
villain.
this. They're just
standard,
standard
creepy,
standard creepy dude. Like just, I don't know. It was odd, but we'll see. I'm more anxious to see what's to come with this. I like the flashback of them fighting, him and 11, and her kind of sending them to the wall, and then creating that rift, and then him going through it and spiraling into the upside down and stuff. Like that was all awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking, because he's a part of the Upside Down, I'm thinking, because I was thinking about it, because the Upside Down is supposed to be a hive mind. Questions about that with the whole Demogorgon in Russia, but I'm thinking one of the reasons the Upside Down is so hell-bent on trying to take out 11 is because of his hatred for her has now infected the Upside Down, and that's one of the reasons why it's always trying to attack 11. Do you think that's a possibility, or?
I mean, I looked at it, and I think that's why I'm so curious about this next part of it, because it was one of those things where I'm like, did Elle create the Upside Down?
Yeah.
Because they made it a point to mention. They made it a point to mention that one is basically Scarlet Witch in this bitch. He can create his own reality and do what he wants to.
Yeah,
she should be able to do it as well.
Maybe.
And I feel like she just basically banished him to this place,
to the Shadow Realm. Yeah. She straight up did.
That's how I assumed that scene. Like, to me, it was like the flashback scene was showing how the Upside Down came to be. Like she blasted them into the wall, and she was pushing them so hard that it like created that rift, and then he went through it, and it kind of sealed up. And it's like, that's our typical window that we've had in all these seasons of like, oh, now we need to investigate it, and what is this rift, and how we can walk through this gate, and like that wasn't there until she blasted them up against the wall. So I think she did create it, or in some way, or she, so that's what I interpreted from it. But who knows, man? This show twists and turns so much that I could have missed something, 25 episodes ago that explained this, and I don't know, but that's how it felt to me watching that scene, was that she created it and kind of sent him through it, and then he landed in there and then kind of became like the king of it, and that was his
kind of
job to try to take it over and assume the souls, so to speak.
Right. So very, like I said, very, very interesting. A lot of great world building with this. Also, the whole wherever you die, that now leads to a rift. That whole thing. So it's gonna be interesting. You guys pointed out the whole thing with the Demogorgon. The Demogorgon in Russia, I don't know how the hell they caught that thing, and I don't know why, what they're planning to do with it. But it's an interesting idea of just prisoners having to fight a Demogorgon in a prison. Like, that's a cool idea. How did it get there? When is it coming back? Who knows? But that was dope to see that, and Hopper having to use his ingenuity to survive, because he is the Tom Cruise of the series. I mean, he's the main hero. The kids, I gotta say, most of the kids, like I said, it's good seeing them, and some of the relationships between the two. Max, we haven't really gotten into Max, but Max really they really stepped her up this season, and I love that character, and they gave her even more to do, and I like that actress too when she was in the I don't know if you guys saw the Fear Street movies.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
That's how she got on my radar.
Yeah, she was in my favorite one. So it was cool to see her come back and getting some more screen time with her dealing with her PTSD of her brother's death, and her also kind of being potentially a little suicidal. You know, that's the thing about Vecna that I do like, is how he can get into people's minds and he can kind of fuck with them by like hinting at their insecurities and their dark secrets, like very Freddy Krueger-ish. And I do like that aspect. So how are y'all feeling about Max? Cam, anything you got for Max? Any love?
I mean, yeah, they really did a number with her this season. They really we knew what type of character she was, but now they just made it so much more complex. And I think that they handled that episode. That's got to be my most favorite episode out of this series. The way that they handled that, yeah, it was just spectacular. You get to the end, you know. Then here comes Kate Bush in the background, like playing it. Then they layered an orchestra over it, and it's about the crescendo, and she's jumping.
That song has been in my head nonstop for the whole week. It really has. Yeah. And I download. I'm at work. I'm listening to it. It's just on repeat. It's such a mellow song, but like that song has been in my head all week, and it's really damn good. And that really helped that scene. I thought she was gonna die. I thought they were. I thought she was.
They were faking us. Yeah, because they did that montage. Totally. I was like, you guys better not do this.
It kind of goes back to when we were talking about nitpicks and the things we didn't like, though. It did make me kind of mad because everybody else Vecna's tried to kill has died in like 10 seconds. Exactly. And then she had this hour episode of just floating in the sky. Right. That's like, come on, dude.
Exactly. That's why I thought she was going to die, because it's like we've established that if you don't get there in time, you're done. And that's what I thought.
As soon as she floated up, I'm like, we're dead. We're moving on.
I thought it was like, okay, they got the idea. They just didn't get there in time enough, and they lost their friend. But no, the power of love saved it. But it still worked. It still worked.
But that's the other part. I think that was on purpose, because let's be honest, we've known since Max came on the scene that she's built just a little bit different. She's built different. So the fact that she's the only one to go through there, see what was going on, and then come back out, just amped her up and gave her so much knowledge to go with the strength that she has, that they couldn't beat this guy without her now. They can't do it.
Yeah, that's another good point. And that brings me back to how they might beat him. The whole, when you're in the mind, I'm gonna say the astral plane, screw it, because they're ripping off X-Men anyway. It's a link, so you can go into each other's mind, and his mind being the home, and it's all destroyed. There was a line when he was talking to 11, and he mentioned that his mom somehow was the only one who realized that he might have been behind all the weird stuff that was going on at the house. The animals and the flashbacks of dead bodies and all of that. And I'm thinking maybe his mom is slightly psychic a little bit, kind of like what 11's mom was, but he somehow is a little more amped because he's like the next in the step of evolution. And I'm thinking maybe they might use some of his images of his mom to kind of weaken him a little bit. I'm thinking that's a possibility of how they might take him down. But you think is the mom going to play a bigger role in this, or what?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
No, I think what's going to end up happening with that, I feel like it's we've seen it already. We've seen it with Max. It's a two-way thing. It's been acknowledged it's a two-way thing now. I think they're going to try to figure out, they're going to do something to figure out what scares him. And it's it's cliche. I hope they don't do that. But I feel like if you've ever watched The Cell, you have to reverse the feed. The feed, go into his mind and fuck shit up. So
I'm thinking the mom is going to be, because like he said in his flashback, somehow the mom was the only one who was willing enough to know that something was up with him, and she was trying to send him to what's his name, Dr. Creepy, Dr. Brenner. So I don't know, maybe that might have played the effect, because everyone else's fears too, they didn't really show what the mom's fear was. I guess they didn't probably write anything. The dad,
they didn't need
fucked up that family. And
all they got to do is figure out his favorite song, and they're just gonna throw some headphones on Vecna.
He's gonna bring him back. Humanity's not that.
They'll take care of him in the real world.
They're gonna play Cardi B WAP in his ears.
I feel like they might get those proton packs, and somehow in the mindscape they're gonna work, and that's how they're gonna lock them up like a Ghostbuster. That's what I'm thinking.
There you go.
I can see that happen. I can see that happen. Yeah, right, exactly. Or something from what was that? Freddy Krueger? Was it Freddy Krueger 3? Was that the mind?
The Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors. Yeah. You're definitely gonna be pulling off of that. So we'll wrap. So who was y'all MVP of the show if y'all had one? Don, I'll let you go first.
Man, I mean, I guess you probably have to go with Max for this first portion. I think that's probably going to be. I think that's been pretty much the main storyline focus is that he was coming after her and she survived him and she had that big moment. That's the scene everybody talks about. That song is number 1 on iTunes. 1985. I mean, if you're talking MVP, I mean, it kind of is her. What that really stands out, when everything's said and done. But it's just because of the different segments, it's hard, right? Like because she is a big kind of like that's the first name that pops in my head. But I'd also want to throw it to Steve. I think Steve has really shined this season as well too, man. Especially when he dove into the water and he went through and he's whipping the bats and he's ripping off heads. He's just over it at this point, and like he always brings the comedic relief, but he's also keeping the story going. So I love that character. I mean, I think he's really shined this season as well too. So those probably be my 2 right there.
All right, Killer Cam, who you got?
So I've got 3 for very specific reasons. I'm giving the overall MVP goes to Nancy. Because in this, they've got her channeling Nancy Drew, Nancy Thompson. She's the only one that jumped in the water immediately after Steve, and she knocked the bat in the head with swag. Did y'all see that?
She was
come to find out, she built different too. She's like, nah, I got guns.
I got guns.
I got a German. Like,
okay,
dude. Like, I was like, okay. So like, I'm giving her MVP. I'm giving Robin kind of like a runner up because when things get too complicated, you can trust that she's going to reset you and get you back on track through dialogue. So I'm like, okay, thank you, bitch. And then we got Eddie. Eddie's my guy. Eddie is my guy. He's like the heart. And I feel like he's going to play a part in this next part of this season, a huge part. I feel like,
they showed him rocking
out
on top of the trailer, so I can't wait to see where that goes. So okay, good choices. I gotta go with my girl 11. I was digging 11's story, even though it was like the whole you got to get your powers back, but like seeing some of that backstory stuff was was interesting. I dig that because in 11, I find her fascinating. Where it's like. She's the odd character, but she wants to fit in so much, like to the point where she's like lying to her boyfriend that everything's great, everything's so awesome.
That's my friend. That's my
friend. She literally just kicked me in the face, but that's my friend. Don't worry about it.
I know. After all that, she was still like, "Please just go tell him we're friends."
Please. I know you don't like me, but let's tell my boyfriend that we're friends, please. Like I'm like, oh, the poor girl. So. And the whole thing with her dad, like I dig that. So I'm gonna give 11. I gotta go Max. Yes, Max was killing it. Max, and her story and dealing with her, her mom and all of that stuff, and then her kind of shutting off from everybody. Lucas trying to desperately, try to be a friend to her, and she's still pushing him away. All that stuff was great. And I'm gonna go with Nancy as well. Nancy was really on it. And her investigation skills, Nancy was dope. And another person I got to give it to, I'm giving it to Murray. I don't give a shit. I'm giving it to Murray because Murray was funny and he came through with the martial arts. He was beating ass, so I got to give it to Murray. I got to give it to Murray. Murray was dope. So so the beginning of the month, July 1st is when the volume 2 comes back, which I'm glad they didn't wait too long for it. And can't wait. Do you guys expect? Did they say there's going to be a season 5? Or because I'm kind of going. They did say that.
Yes, they have announced season 5, and it will be the finale. That is the series finale right there. So 5.
And they filmed it already, didn't they? Didn't they film it like back to back? I think it's done.
I'm not sure.
There's a possibility, but
3 years it should be. For sure. I'm just saying.
I know, right?
By the time they film that, they go. Yeah, right. By the time
that's the thing. They have to figure out. They're going to either have to. If they either filmed it, or they're going to have to do a severe time jump because these kids are not at the age where you can pretend they're the age they are. You
can't anymore.
Like Lucas up here looking like a full-grown like basketball player.
Will, yeah,
Will like
Will was the biggest change for me because his voice was way deeper than what it used to be. So I was like, geez, that's some some change has really gone through. Because Will, I was like, is that Will? He's like, I just wanted to hang out with you guys. I was like, whoa,
come on, Mike, let's go to the skating rink. School's on Monday,
it was like,
guys.
What other show? That was Cobra Kai when LaRusso's kid popped up and
and
just who the hell was that? Like,
oh yeah, the son. Yeah, he was like, damn, he lost weight and got tall. What the hell?
Yeah, like, dude, I thought it was a totally different kid.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right about that. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a damn good
filming
point.
with kids is rough, dude. It's rough.
It is. It is. It definitely.
I think it'd be smart for them to do a time jump. To be honest, it'd probably be in their best interest to be like
they love
to beat Vecna and have it be like chill for 7 years or something, and then have it almost like, and then all of a sudden all this creepy stuff starting to pop up again. They could even do it almost like It style, right? Like everybody's off on their own, and then creepy shit starts happening in Derry again. They all come back.
Yeah,
so. But I think that's where they are now. If you think about it, they're at that stage of their life where they're growing. Their crew is starting to change. This is the only thing really bringing them back together. So it would be nice if they ended right there and then did that time jump and see where life took the rest of them and how they handle the next situation.
It'd be cool.
That's very good. I think they might be, either if they might do that for maybe like the last episode. So I don't know, or like we'll see a reunion and they're all older type of deal. I do think we might get something like that in that final season. But yeah, I guess we could wrap that up. So yes, Stranger Things season 4, volume 1, fire. Definitely check it out if you get the chance. It's worth your time, and can't wait for that volume 2. Like I said, hopefully they'll nail the landing. They seem to do pretty good nailing their finales. Yeah, that, they got a solid track record. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt on that one. And so we're gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna go with Dom. Let the people know where they can find you, man.
Thank you. So my show is Am I on the Air? It airs every Monday night, available on all your favorite platforms. It's amiontheair.com, all one word. It is an entertainment podcast, so all your favorite stuff like this, TVs, movies, and reviews, and everything above the sun there. So come on and join us and get caught up every single week. So thanks for having me once again. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad you come through. And Cam, let the people know where they can find you, man.
Find us, Blurred Up Reacts, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Right now, it's really all about, got 3 more episodes of Stranger Things to get posted up, 3 episodes of The Boys. Miss Marvel starts next week. Then we got
it is next week.
It's Summergeddon. It's Summergeddon.
They don't stop, man.
They don't stop. I feel like if anything's gonna fall by the wayside for me, it's probably gonna be Miss Marvel. Like I don't know if I'm gonna get around to making a video or anything about it. I'm interested in seeing it, but I think that might fall because The Boys is top priority right now for me. Cam, thanks for coming through. And I'm your boy Brogi Naric. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all things Brogi Naric. Once again, I want to thank the guests for coming through. Thanks for meeting up. Hopefully we can do this another time. Had a great time with y'all. And for everyone watching and listening to the playback, don't forget to hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, everybody. All right. Peace. And we'll hit the end.